Welcome to another edition of the Brian Turner Basketball Podcast. Before we get going, can you please like and subscribe to the channel? My goal is to grow this channel within the next year as much as possible, full of basketball content, full of health content, full of life content. So do yourself a favor and make sure you click the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell for all notifications. Also, this video is being brought to you by and powered by SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek.com is an online ticketing app. So any music concert, any comedy concert, any sporting event, baseball, football, basketball, go over to the app, use promo code Coach Turner to get $20 off your first purchase at checkout. Appreciate your time. I'm glad you was able to find this channel. I hope you like this video. Man, it seems like it's been ages, man, since I jumped on here. Probably the end of August. So, man, thanks for everybody, man, for encouraging me, for making sure that I continue this space of getting information out, having fun with some of my friends, my colleagues, kind of picking their brains, making sure we dropping some little jewels for the next generation because it's needed. And for the most part, I had to take a little break, man, and just live life. We get caught up in the day to day, the ruts of doing things that we have to do, and we have so many responsibilities out here, being young adults, and I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm neglecting a lot of my responsibilities. And again, if I'm not on here, I'm re-energizing and recharging up my battery, so I can give you guys have something to talk about when I jump back on here. But I did miss everyone. I did miss the back and forth of me, putting these shows out and getting these shows together. So this is the right time for it. We on the verge of a new NBA season. I want to talk about that here shortly, man. Got a lot of stuff to cover. Like I said, it's been a while since I jumped on here. Just ride with me for a little minute, and hope you enjoy the show. So before we kick things off, we got to make sure that everybody know again, man, this video, this podcast, this episode is powered by SeatGeek. And then you ask me, man, Coach, man, BT, man, what you been up to? Where you been? Man, SeatGeek has been blessing me, man. I've been man, traveling the world, going to a lot of different places, a lot of different shows. And if you follow me on social media, you can see me at a lot of different events. And that was because, man, I discovered SeatGeek. Man, SeatGeek is a third party sharing ticket sharing app. So if you are in a town and you want to get your hands on some tickets and you thinking that it's sold out, man, you hit up SeatGeek. You go to SeatGeek.com and you look for that event, you look for that show, and they'll look out for you. They'll look out for you, especially if you use my promo code Coach Turner to get $20 off your first purchase. So I got to make sure that I share that because, like I said, man, they've been blessing me these last couple months. I'm happy to be partnering with them as a sponsor because I take advantage of these perks. So I want the fans, I want the listeners to make sure that you guys, take advantage of that too. Um, if you're listening to this on YouTube Podcast, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, if you're in YouTube, make sure that you go over and man, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Man, I've been able to come up on a lot of different subscribers from just putting out content, sharing my stuff on social media. And I think at the end of, I want to say August, I had a little bit over maybe 60 subscribers. But within these last little couple months, man, I've been going hard with the videos, as far as, putting out, basketball video, drill videos, people that know me know wrestling is a nice hobby for me. I've been putting out wrestling videos and people been responding to it. So I'm gonna try to keep that going. But make sure that you go over to this channel. If you haven't, make sure you like and you subscribe and go just digging in the crates of kind of my old catalog and kind of, listen to some of the jewels that a lot of my guests dropped, some of the jewels that I've dropped over the last 2 years. Man, you'd be surprised with some of the stuff, man, we done came up with, on this show. So again, please like and subscribe to the channel. I want to kind of go back and kind of recircle around and talk about the top events that we do have in the St. Louis area as far as taking advantage of that SeatGeek app, because a lot of people may not know, exactly what to do and how to get, a hold of these tickets. So we have, the St. Louis Blues. They're gonna be here playing. I want to say, hold on, let me get my notes. On the 22nd, so that's one of the top events that SeatGeek is promoting. So make sure you get your blues tickets over there. We also have Rod Wade. A lot of my college guys, my youngsters, man, Rod Wade is blowing up right now. He has a show at the Enterprise, I believe November 16th. Make sure you get your hands on those tickets over there, because if you go on Ticketmaster, you go on some of these sites and you're not able to find that show, man, make sure you hit up SeatGeek in order to get those tickets. But we also have, man, Frozen, the Eagles, man, and some of um my era. Well, I ain't gonna say even my era, just a little past my era, but we have Bow Wow, the Millennium Tour is coming up this weekend. Get your hands on that. So I want to just keep, promoting these events, promoting these opportunities for folks to get out here and not, get their head busted with a lot of these tickets. And just, did you guys get a chance to see the Mary J. Blige tour? Did you guys go see the Wu Tang and Nas tour? Did you guys go see all of these events? You should have used that promo code, Coach Turner, with SeatGeek. Okay. So again, those are the shows that are powered by SeatGeek. Like I said, that's why I've been MIA. I've been enjoying these perks these last little couple months. So um, make sure you take advantage of that. Moving on. So I want to thank everybody for all the birthday wishes. I know last time I was on here was the end of the summer, was right at the beginning of the fall. But your boy turned 41. I'm blessed. I'm blessed in, man, so many different ways. But just to have, family and friends, colleagues reach out to me, man, giving me the birthday wishes, man, that means so much to me. And we'll try to do it again, this time next year. So appreciate all of the birthday wishes. Appreciate, all of the support and the concerns about our school situation. If you haven't heard, or if you don't know, they've announced that, St. Mary's High School, Rosada Kane, may be on the verge of closing at the end of the school year. But our alumni, Rosada Kane alumni, is working real hard to go through some alternative routes to keep the school open. Because I mean, education is important, guys. Schools are important. And, some of these schools, these landmark schools, they were built to last, man. Churches and schools were built to last hundreds and hundreds of years. And when you get to a point where you're closing these schools down, for whatever reason, it's just not, it's not a good look. But, but shout out to all of the people who was able to, reach out to me and give me some support and some encouragement. Um, and kind of pick my brain on what would be the next steps. But as you all know, man, I'm a loyal person to the bone. I tell people all the time, man, no matter what, I'm not going to make any type of decisions until until we figure all this stuff out. But I mean, but it's looking good, and I want to just make sure that I just leave that little nugget out there for folks that were that were concerned about your boy. But I'm in a good place. I'm blessed. And that's kind of where I want to kind of go with my lesson. Well, not my lesson, but my message tonight, which is being proactive versus reactive. We are in a place right now where, you have no control over, what's going to happen with these schools. You have no control over what's going to happen with your job. You have no control over any of these things. But what you do have control over, you have control over yourself. And did you put yourself in the right situation when when you was getting ready for, for the worst. You always hear the term, or you always hear the stories of, stacking up for the winter, or saving up for a rainy day. um, you just have to put yourself in a position to where you're being proactive, no matter what the circumstances is, because these positions, these jobs, these schools, all of these things are not promised. Only thing that is promised is just your will of you trying to be able to put yourself in a position to try to just further your opportunities in life. So proactive versus reactive. So you say, Coach, man, again, what does that mean? Okay, being someone that's proactive is someone, again, that takes the responsibility for themselves. I'm gonna put it in the terms of when I talk to my guys. If you know those dishes are in the sink, no one has to tell you to wash those dishes. You should get up. You know that those dishes are in the sink. You should be able to get up, do those dishes, knock those dishes out, move on to something else without your parents having to tell you. The reactive person is going to sit back and is going to wait on, their parents to tell them once, parents to tell them twice, three, four times to, take the trash out, wash the dishes. The proactive person is going to get straight to it. And then that person is going to feel good about himself once he completes that task and that job. And so we want to make sure that we're always doing things without being told, and preparing for a rainy day, or just preparing ourselves before someone that can even get a chance to even tell us, what the next steps are. So again, the proactive person is going to do things without being asked. And the most important thing, the proactive person is going to choose their actions and their attributes and their attitudes. No one is going to be able to control those things. I tell my kids all the time, man, we live in a time that, you know, um, no one else should be able to have the remote control to press your buttons to get you off your square. You know, um, if someone knows that they had a remote control to your life, they're gonna constantly play on you, constantly play on you. Whether if it's the remote control or the joystick to the video game, if they know they can sit back and just say, "Hey, watch this, man. I'm about to pull on BT chain just a little bit, just to get them upset," and they know that they can get you upset. You don't want to be in that type of space. So, the proactive person is not gonna be affected by someone else, um, you know, uh, trying to play them, trying to play them like a fool, or play them uh, as a game. So making sure that proactive person just stays on the square no matter what. So those are some of the things that I like to just share with my guys. But I mean that's very, very important, because you don't never want to go throughout life, man, just being the victim, always crying foul, always blaming others for, your shortcomings. And, you know, we've all had times where we can point the finger at someone and says, this is the reason why we in this situation. But that's just a reactive attitude. You know, you want to get to the point where you're having a proactive attitude and not a reactive attitude, to where you're not playing the victim, right? You're not blaming others. You're not complaining about your circumstances. Those are the things that you really should concentrate and think about. So that was one of the messages that I sat back and I pondered over, because we getting close to basketball season. The basketball season starts on Tuesday. Well, the NBA season starts on Tuesday. Our season starts officially on Halloween. We don't play our first game until about the first week of December. But for those who've been just on social media, that's on the internet, on Netflix, watching movies, man, did you get a chance to see the Redeem Team? Netflix Redeem Team. And this is kind of going into the whole proactive and reactive mind state, because again, for so long, well, the Redeem Team. Let's just talk about that real quick. So I had some notes on the Redeem Team, just in case folks are not caught up to speed. So I think a couple weeks ago, Netflix released released the Redeem Team. So everybody know, you heard of the Dream Team, Jordan, Magic, Bird, you know, all of those guys that hold on. Woo. All of those guys back in 92 that went for the gold that had a chance to just, I mean, they set records all over the place. So the notes that I have as far as the Redeem Team, it just says um it was a documentary that Netflix put out. And if you haven't watched it, man, but go back and watch it because they were able to just come up with some outstanding footage of, I want to say, the 1972, 1976 Olympics. And they had it in HD quality that was just like, it was mind blowing to be able to see that stuff crystal clear in real time today. So they went back and they talked about how, you know, the pros back in the day, would always win the gold medal, always win the gold medal until Russia, the former Soviet Union, um, got a chance to dethrone us. And so Chris Collins' dad, which is Doug Collins, who coached Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls back in the early '80s, was at the free throw line, and he hit the go away free throws to put the U.S. up by a couple with only 3 seconds to go. And the U.S. celebrated, they cheered, they beat the mighty USSR. But then I believe the game was played, in the Soviet, and they put some time back on the clock. And once they put the time back on the clock and they threw a long pass down the court, one of the big Russians called it, put it in. USA loses the gold medal game, and everybody was just heartbroken. So, talks started to happen as far as, we needed to get the best of the best players back out there because, you know, USA shouldn't lose in a game that was invented by the Americans. So these little notes I had just says the Redeem Team tells the story of the U.S. Olympic men's basketball team quest for gold in the Olympic Games in Beijing in 2008, following the previous team's shocking performance 4 years earlier in Athens. Now everybody knows the Athens team. If you didn't know, this was right around, I think, in 2004. You had LeBron, you had Carmelo, you had a lot of young guys coming out of high school, college. That, I mean, it was their time. But then you also had a bunch of veterans, the Marburys, the Allen Iversons. A lot of these guys were still holding on to the badge of, this is our league, this is our game. We want to go out here and win this gold medal for us. And so they said the 2004 team just did not mesh whatsoever. Okay. Key, going back to when we're talking about proactive and reactive, they had a reactive mind state because, again, you had the top NBA players of that time, Allen Iverson, Marbury, you know, all of these guys were still playing, but during that same time, those guys were viewed as being victims. You know, we're right on the verge of 9/11. It was the first Olympic Games outside of 2001. So the US were viewed as the victims, not staying in the Olympic Village, off to themselves. And they came up with all these different type of excuses why they couldn't get it done. But again, it hints as having that reactive mind state, complaining about their circumstances. And they went out there and they laid an egg. They laid an egg, and then they turned right back around and they laid an egg again in 2008. And 2008 was the well, not 2008, 2004, but 2008 was the quest for the Beijing Olympics. And it brings me to let me make sure I got this up. It brings me to my point of, you know, whether if you want to say, because you got two stories that's going on in that episode where, LeBron, Dwayne, Carmelo, those guys just couldn't get it done. It took someone that had that proactive mind state to come and bless this team with, that proactive approach in order for them to get them over the hump. And that person was the late great Kobe Bryant. And if you see this documentary, I mean, for all basketball fans, it's a touching documentary because I mean it goes in depth of Kobe's just will to win. They I don't want to give too much away, but a lot of folks know this story. A lot of the youngsters may not know this, but Kobe was a straight killer, was a straight dog to where he was going through his own teammates to get what he wanted. And, you know, it was refreshing. I would say that it was refreshing to get a chance to see that essence of the game come back. And hopefully it would trigger this next generation to try to do the same thing. We live in a time where everybody wants to play with their friends, and that it was pointed out that yeah, Paul Gasol, Kobe Bryant were best friends. They were friends on the Lakers, but he was willing to go through his friend to get what he wanted. That was that old school 80s mentality, 90s mentality where, we trying to get it done. And it was just refreshing to get a chance to see that. So if you guys didn't get a chance to see the Redeem Team, man, get a chance to check that out because again, you could be a proactive person by influencing others to become proactive. And if you watch that video, it was another part in the movie where they talked about how they went out to the clubs to party. Went out to the clubs to party, and they're on their way. They're on the way in. Kobe got his AutoZone gloves on, about to go down to go lift weights and work out. Man, that was refreshing to see because it reminded me of a book by John Gordon called The Coffee Bean, and it just talks about um, how you basically can transform your environment just by your influence. And that show right there is just like a coffee bean. You put a coffee bean in some hot water, and that water and in that pot, everything is going to dissolve to becoming coffee. And so that was what the book was about. But there's also the mentality that Kobe had was, I don't care you guys went out to the party. I'm about to get this work in. So, my will to get better is gonna rub off on you. And then you heard the stories of Dwayne Wade coming down in the lobby with his workout stuff on. Then LeBron coming down in the lobby. Then Chris Paul coming down in the lobby to start working out at those 5 a.m. workouts. He just transformed the whole environment and ultimately, bringing home the gold medal for the USA team. So check that video out. It's on Netflix. It's called The Redeem Team. I think every ball player should be watching it, especially being on the verge of the season, just to soak up so much game, so much knowledge in that individual. And it hurts me every time that I say that we lost Kobe, but man, yeah, we lost a great one, and the great late great Kobe Bean Bryant. So check that out. So I want to transition so this is kind of twofold. So we got a chance on one end to see the Redeem Team documentary on Netflix, but I also got a chance to check out Shaquille O'Neal's interview on Drink Champs. And for some of you guys that may not know what Drink Champs is, it's a podcast that's on Revolt TV, hosted by DJ Effin and the rapper Noriega. I mean, one of the top Drink Champs. I mean, one of the top podcasts out there. They just had a controversial interview with Kanye West that is getting so much press right now. But the last episode previous, he had Shaquille O'Neal on there. And again, youngsters, if you haven't had a chance to check this out, or even I'm gonna say my age group, because a lot of the youngsters shouldn't, maybe you will, maybe you won't watch the Drink Champs, but this also was refreshing for people my age because we got a chance to step into the mindset of an NBA great, a basketball great, but a guy who was able to make that transition from being on the court to being one of the top moguls, businessmen, not just in hip hop, but as far as all across the world. And Shaquille O'Neal, and man, he dropped so many nuggets in that interview that I wanted to kind of point out. I had a couple that I wrote down that I wanted to point out, that if you get a chance to watch this, whether if you want to watch it or not, but if you get a chance to watch this, man, it is some great nuggets to pick up on. But um again, if you don't know, man, Shaquille O'Neal played, man, I don't even have the notes on how many seasons he played, but I mean, he played for a lot of NBA teams. He was drafted in 1992. In 93, he was the NBA Rookie of the Year. He was someone that I looked up to growing up, just by his dominance, and he was that guy back in the day. We talked about, again, being a proactive person versus a reactive person. Here was a guy that was the number one draft pick, clearly the number one draft pick, but he wasn't picked up on the initial dream team. And um, he wasn't disappointed about that. I mean, he just took the whole NBA by storm and made everybody pay for it. And still to this day, he's still making the NBA pay for, you know, for drafting him in the league, because I mean, he's still a face of the game. He's still a face of the NBA. And again, he's a face in business. And so I was inspired by that interview. And again, I picked up on a lot of the little different nuggets that he was dropping on there. So here's a guy who he talked about partnering and becoming the owner of a lot of different restaurants. Papa John's. He talked about um, one of his financial advisors advised him to take the Starbucks deal early on in his career, and he turned that down, and it eventually ended up being one of the biggest deals that Magic Johnson actually took, that made Magic Johnson a successful businessman. So um, that was refreshing to hear that, that Shaq had, he had Papa John's back in 2019. And he also talked about, it was a guy who had a Wheaties box, and he wanted him to sign. And Shaq, he noted that the box was unauthorized because the NBA had a deal with the NBA champions, but he did not have a deal with Wheaties in order to promote the Wheaties box. And so he talked about calling up um, cereals that he ate growing up, i.e., cornflakes, um, Dig'em Smacks, some of the other cereals that we ate growing up, and he pitched them, "Hey, let me get on the box because we didn't eat Wheaties in the hood." So again, that was refreshing, just to know of him having the mindset and the wherewithal to just kind of use his leverage as an NBA champion and as a superstar to make other business deals. So like I said, I thought that was amazing. He talked about him cutting a deal with Jive Records. He rapped with Jive on the Arsenio Hall show, and he talked about the next day he had almost 30 record deals on the table, and he chose to go with Jive because Jive offered him $10 million for 3 albums. And he jumped at it, he did it, he was happy of being a recording artist, and the first album actually went platinum. And I'm here to say that I was bumping all of the Shaq cuts growing up. Man, the mugs just hit different, uh, to have an NBA player, with the rhymes and with the bass and all that type of stuff, man, that played right into my ego as a young ball player to hear that. But he talked about that, it wasn't any type of money in the music business. So he was able to pivot out of that. And here we go. We are, as a culture, basketball and rap music go hand in hand. And here's a person that said, I've conquered the basketball world, I've conquered the music world, and I just don't have any interest in it anymore. And that was refreshing to know that he just didn't let one thing define who he was. And he continued to search for different things and put himself in different positions as a businessman, and just to find the knowledge to be able to do those things. Oh, excuse me. He talked about why it says Shaq has received several individual accolades during his career, including most valuable player in 99 and 2000, Rookie of the Year in 1992-93, and 15 NBA All-Star selections. Although he had an undoubtedly successful NBA career, the ex-player claimed he doesn't miss playing basketball professionally since he faced off against all of his childhood basketball heroes. For me, it was about beating these legends. I didn't really see nobody that I was going to make me get crazy for. Ponder that for a second. Here you are, and it's all about reaching that goal, reaching that goal, reaching that goal. You finally get there, you conquer it, and you like, man, what's left? Man, that's a great feeling to have. And that's a great feeling to try to inspire to have. Um, Conquering your childhood heroes. I mean, that's an amazing dream to get to. And you know, I'm with him in that sense where you get to a point where you've battled all of the greats, you've had all of the different things. There's no sense of you trying to battle yourself. You know, you did it, you got it done. It's time to move on. So, hats off to Shaq, man, for making that statement. He talked about DJing. He has a career DJing now. He also talked about how Michael Jackson tried to buy his Orlando house. But I mean, in all, if you're a basketball player, you strive to be a professional. You strive to be, we talk about how it's levels to this. That it's just a nice interview to sit back and watch. He's a man that again takes life serious, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. I think he said he drinks a little bit, but not on camera, that was refreshing just to hear because um, we still have people out here today that are still striving to be role models and not trying to be just one of the guys that the you want the appeal of the youngsters so bad that you want to fit in with them and not standing on your square for the person that's who that you are, and that just shows you know great character. But in all, man, that was just a tremendous interview. So I didn't want to make this video too long, but I'm glad you guys were able to, man, stay with me and rock with me. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things and try to put these things out. Again, we have Tuesday night, we have the NBA, we have um, so many different storylines that are going on with the NBA nowadays. You got Boston versus the 76ers, and you also have the Lakers versus the Warriors. As you can see, I'm setting it off early. Got my Boston Celtics hat on. It's going to be good to see the Celtics to see if they can get back with all of the drama that's going on in their organization. I think Jason Tatum is one of the top players in the league. He showed that at the end of last year, leading those guys to the finals, and I just think he's going to have another breakout year. So it's going to be interesting to be able to check that out. We also have the Lakers and the Warriors going on tomorrow, and you already know about the drama with the Warriors as far as Draymond Green and Jordan Poole and that whole situation. But the storyline that I'm excited about, because I'm just a fan of basketball, a fan of the game since a child. But the fact that King James is on pace to become an all-time scoring king, that's huge right there. For someone who averaged, you know, over 20 points in high school, was one of the all-time leading scorers of my school. That I love putting the ball in the hoop. This is a milestone that all scores should be, getting ready to check out. I think he's 2,000 points shy. I think if he averages around 16, 17 points a game this season, he can possibly capture that. And we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to King James breaking these scoring records. I'm gonna jump out on the ledge and say he's gonna break another record before it's all said and done, whether if it's the rebound record or the assist record, because the man got so many games up under his belt that is just it's outstanding. So uh yeah, we look forward, man. We look forward to that. Again, I wanted to make sure that you guys were able to um just learn something from Shaq and Kobe and how he's inspiring the next generation of guys coming up, still inspiring this generation and last generation But this was something to see for basketball fans and sports fans all over the world, to make sure you guys, you check in with that. But in closing, because we're going to wrap this up, I want to make sure that, again, we stay blessed and we stay grateful for every sunrise, and we're thankful for every sunset. So, um, catch you guys on the next video. Appreciate your time. I'm out.